Good morning, students. Today we are going to discuss on chapter number 1 of economics development out of your social science syllabus. And when we talk about this development chapter, we are basically talking about the meaning of development. We will also discuss about various goals which different people have. We will be talking about various criteria like national income. We will be talking about infant mortality rate. We will be talking about literacy rate. We will be talking about net attendance ratio, and we will also talk about various ways in comparing development among various nations. Then we will be talking about public facilities, and ultimately we will be wrapping our discussion with what is called sustainable development. So let's begin with what is called development. We know that development basically means upgrading. When we are basically switching off to a better of standard, to a better of situation, that is what is development. We come to know, or we will always think, or we will always know that the goals of development are different for different people. Let's take an example of an Adivasi girl. Let's take an example of an urban girl. Let's take an example of an employed youth or an unemployed youth. The goals of development for all these four categories of people are different. So we come to know, or we can say that goals vary from time to time and from person to person and from situation to situation. Our goal right now is to deliver the class online by creating videos so that you can study at home, so that you do not waste your entire time. So the goals are different because the situations are different. When you will be in school, when you will be in class, the goals will be different. But the basic objective is to reach you, and that is what is basically the concept of entire chapter called development. So development basically means upgradation. When we upgrade from one level to another, when the countries upgrade from one level to another, that is what is called development. The goals of development are conflicting. Let's take an example: an industrialist who will always wish to want have more and more electricity. For that, we will have to create more and more of dams. But more of dams will lead to the submerge, will lead to affect the people who are living in the low-lying areas. So the goals of different people are different, and the goals are conflicting enough. The goals of an Adivasi girl, the goals of an urban girl, the goal of an employed and an unemployed, they are all varying. The goals vary, and as such, the needs for development of various countries will also vary. Let's take an example of a landless rural labor. What will be the goal? The goal will be to create or to gain some land first and then get into agricultural activity. But when we talk about a prosperous farmer of Punjab, creating or getting land is no burden to him. He or she will be trying to use HYV seeds. So the goals are different for different categories of people. So that is what we are going to talk about. Urban people, rural people, employed, unemployed, all of these have got different goals. Different goals, different persons, and different situations. This will all lead to the summary of the entire chapter. What we see that the goals will be different for other people, the goals will be different for me, the goal will be different for you. My goal today is to deliver a lecture to you. Your goal today will be listening to what we are going to deliver. So the goals are different for different people. When we talk about goals, we also need to keep in mind one thing, that is our permissible limits, that is our income. That is very, very important. Our goals, our objectives all vary with whatever level of income that we are having. So one basic criteria of development is income. Coming to this, we will discuss about national development. Now, what is national development? When countries are in a better position, when countries are getting higher income, when countries facilities, when countries are getting better education facilities, when the living standard of the people are increasing, overall this can be termed as national development. So we come up with three things. First, we have completed meaning. Then we have talked about different people with different goals. Then we are talking about national development, and now we are moving into something else, and that is different other criteria of development. Is it that income is the only criteria of development or measuring development? No, it cannot be. When we talk about income, income has got two phases. One is the general income of the country, which is called the total income of the country, and the other one is called the average income, which is also known as the per capita income. When we divide the total income of the country by the total working population, what we get is called the per capita income, or PCI. And this is one of the measures, or this is one of the standards that we are using to measure development among different countries. The World Bank has also decided to categorize different countries on the basis of this per capita income. That can be divided as highly developed countries, developed countries and underdeveloped countries. But is it so? No. Income cannot be the sole criteria of measuring development. There are other criteria. Let's take an example. One criteria of development is literacy rate, the rate at which people are learning, the rate at which even a grown up is able to write up one para in any language and understand this. So this rate will decide whether the country is being developed or not. One more example that we can take about is the net attendance ratio, the percentage of children attending school in the age group of 6 to 14. That is what is called net attendance ratio out of the total population. So the more the number of children, the higher the net attendance ratio, the higher is the level of development of a country. As per one of the example given in your book, we can measure development between Punjab, Kerala and Bihar. Let's take an example, the infant mortality rate, that is the rate at which the rate at which the children live successfully is what is called infant mortality rate. So if the infant mortality rate of Punjab is 30, whereas in Kerala is 12 and Bihar is 44, we can say that Bihar is developed because infant mortality rate is higher. No, not exactly. In case of infant mortality rate, the lower the infant mortality rate, the higher is the development. So if Punjab is having 30, Kerala is 12 and Bihar is 44. So quite clearly Kerala is highly developed than Punjab and Bihar. On the basis of literacy ratio, the higher the literacy ratio, higher is the development. On the basis of net attendance ratio, higher the net attendance ratio, higher is the development of these states, of these countries. So apart from per capita income, we can use measures like IMR, literacy ratio and net attendance ratio to measure development of any country. Next, we are moving into public facilities. When we talk about development, is it income? Is it national income? Is it education only that is available? It is that these are the only things that can be taken as measurement of comparison or comparison between development. No, there are public facilities that also has to be kept in mind. We need to see whether the standard of living of the people is developing or not. That is also very important. We need to see whether education is available easily or not, whether health facilities are easily available or not, safety is there, hygienic working conditions are there, public toilets and urinals are there. These are all the public facilities that need to be present in order to say that whether a particular state or a country is developed or not. Money cannot buy anything. It's not that. Money cannot buy everything. That is all and all. That is very important. So in this case, when we talk about public facilities and development, we need to see that there is a direct relationship between public facilities and development. The more the public facilities, the more is the development of a particular state or a country. When we talk about development, we need to talk about development in all sense. And the last sense that comes into our mind is sustainable development. Sustainable development is overall development. Judicious use of resources in such a way so that the needs of the present generation is fulfilled without compromising on the needs of the upcoming generations. We cannot use the resources which are available to us in all our greed, to fulfill all our greed. We have to keep these resources in such a way so that the future generations can also utilize this. And this judicious use of resource is basically what is called sustainable development. What I believe, friends, that if you go through this video for some time, then you will be able to have a basic bare minimum understanding of the entire chapter, which is called development, of your economic syllabus. Thank you.